Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And I've been going through the entire Silent Night, Deadly Night series, and I'm on the final one, the 2012 film Silent Night. Here is your trivia question for today. What was the answer to Aubrey's crossword puzzle that she was having a hard time with? The answer will be at the end of this episode. So, in this pseudo remake, we are at Christmas time once again, but this time around, there is a creepy Santa out on the loose, causing all sorts of havoc and taking people's lives. Now, trying to track down and stop this Santa is our main character of Deputy Aubrey Braidmore. Luckily, she won't be doing this alone, as she'll have help from Sheriff Cooper, along with Brenda and Deputy Giles back at the station. Unfortunately, though, the bodies keep piling up, and it doesn't help that most of the people in town definitely seem like they would be on the naughty list. To make matters worse, that evening they even have a parade of Santas. So everywhere you look, they're on every street and street corner. So will Deputy Braidmore find the right one in time? So as I mentioned, this film is somewhat of a remake of the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. However, though, some of the film was inspired by the real-life Covina holiday massacre, which took place on Christmas Eve 2008. The reason why this film took place in Wisconsin was due to the fact that the original film was protested in Milwaukee. I wasn't able to find a reason for this, but most of the characters in this film are named after members of the Leeds United football team from the 1970s. This movie was also the first time since the second film that a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie had a theatrical release, even though this one was limited. The movie was directed by Stephen C. Miller. Apparently, another potential director for this film was Kevin Greutert. Malcolm McDowell, who undoubtedly is the most well-known actor in this film, plays the character of Sheriff Cooper. I was not a big fan of his performance though, because for some reason he felt like he was trying to be every beat cop from every television series about police. The main character of Deputy Aubrey Braidmore was played by Jamie King, and she did a fine job, although I do have to say, in general, most people's acting in this movie was just a little off, at least in my opinion. Another recognizable actor that you may or may not have noticed was in this movie was Donald Logue, who played the character of Jim Epstein. Here are some references to the original Silent Night, Deadly Night that you may or may not have noticed in this film. Both of the movies have a grandfather who is in a vegetative state that comes out of it to warn his grandson of a cryptic message, although I do have to say, the grandfather in the original film was 1,000 times creepier. One of the deaths in this film is almost an exact copy, as a young girl is impaled onto a set of antlers. A sequence that occurs in this film, as well as the first and fourth movies, is someone being strangled by Christmas lights. Another sequence that's very similar in both movies is after everyone in the house is massacred, only a young innocent girl is left. There's technically a reference to the second film, because someone has the line in this movie of, "What is this, garbage day?" Which of course is a reference to the line, "Garbage day," from the second film. There's even a quick reference to the 1974 film Black Christmas, as Maria is choked with a shower curtain, which looks eerily similar to when someone is choked out with the laundry bag from that film. Now, before this movie was made, there were talks of a direct remake with Alexander Aya as the director. They even got as far as having Shauna MacDonald coming in as the Mother Superior. But Aya ended up getting very busy with the film Piranha 3D and had to shelve his version of Silent Night, Deadly Night. When it comes to this film, are you aware of the one thing that's missing from this one that's in all of the other films? A character named Ricky. That's right, all of the other 5 Silent Night, Deadly Night movies have someone named Ricky in it, even though they're not always the same character. Now, what is funny though, is even though there isn't a Ricky, the actor playing Santa in this film is Rick Skeen. This movie was entirely filmed in Manitoba, Canada. The body count for this movie was 17, and unfortunately, quite a few of the characters in this movie did kind of deserve it. You have Deputy Jordan, who was electrocuted, Honey, who was tasered to death, Alana, who was dismembered off screen, Goldie, who was attacked with a scythe, Frank, who was also attacked with a scythe, but to the crotch, oof. Maria, who has my favorite death of the film as they go full Fargo style and put her into the wood chipper. Reverend Madeley, who gets shanked, and in my opinion is the most deserving person on this list. Jane Jones, who in a flashback is taken out with a flamethrower. The mayor, who is strangled with Christmas lights. Tiffany, who gets a little too horny. Ah, you see what I did there? Because she gets impaled on antlers. Anyway, Dennis, who gets his head split right down the middle with an axe. Stein Carson, who is actually shot by Aubrey. Deputy Giles, who takes an axe to the face. Sheriff Cooper, who gets hit with the flamethrower. Hank, who unfortunately gets eviscerated. Jim Epstein, who gets some brass knuckles to the face. And finally, Ronald Jones Sr., who gets shot and burned with his own flamethrower. So when it comes to the film Silent Night, this one was okay. I didn't think that it was a bad movie or even necessarily a bad Silent Night, Deadly Night film, but I just felt like there was something a bit off with everyone's acting in the movie, and I just never fully connected with any of the characters. So because of that, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5. If you liked this movie, other films I recommend checking out are Christmas, Bloody Christmas, Halloween from 2018, My Bloody Valentine 3D, and Friday the 13th from 2009. Now it's time to answer the trivia question from the beginning of this episode. What was the answer to Aubrey's crossword puzzle that she was having a hard time with? So the crossword clue was a 6-sided item with 9 letters. So the answer ended up being the word snowflake, which is all fine, well, and good, and obviously winter themed. But in the scene where she makes the realization after seeing like a decoration of a snowflake, she acted like it was some amazing epiphany or something, but I didn't feel like it did anything to help the movie out at all. I don't know, maybe it was something that I just didn't understand. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews, and if there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, mention it in the comments.